Another reason that I'm happy to live in this period is that we have been forced to a point where we are going to have to grapple with the problems that men have been trying to grapple with through history, but the demands didn't force them to do it. Survival demands that we grapple with them. Men for years now have been talking about war and peace, but now no longer can they just talk about it. It is no longer the choice between...
For our final segment, we at Urban Update want to remind you of an important event happening in Boston tomorrow evening. Sadly, this Monday marks the anniversary of the assassination of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was killed on April 4th in 1968. But Dr. King left the nation and the world a powerful and prophetic last message the night before he died in Memphis. Now, you just heard a clip of that historic speech. Tomorrow, many will be reflecting on that speech at the Grove Hall Community Center, which will feature the Reverend Dr. Walter Earl Fluker of Boston University. The event is being hosted by the New Democracy Coalition, led by Kevin Peterson. To give us more information on all this, we've invited Boston civil rights icon attorney Charles E. Walker, who will be at the event tomorrow in Dorchester. Attorney Walker, thanks for coming in. Good to see you again. Welcome back to Urban Update.
It's great to be here.
In our final moments here, I guess, talk to me about the significance of that speech to the Mountaintop. That was the night before he died. It sends chills up my spine when I think about listening to it. Talk to me about the significance of that speech.
It's so profound. We were just talking about it, and when you read about it, people say, well, he was dealing with his death threats, but it's a 23-minute speech, and he takes it from the beginning of the, way before the Civil Rights Movement, all the way to the Mountaintop. And I really do believe that he actually foresaw that this would be his last speech. It was kind of like his farewell speech. If you're a Christian, maybe his prayer in Gethsemane before his departure.
That's what he was talking about, wanting to live a long life and longevity and so forth. You know, we always hear about the I Have a Dream speech, particularly on Martin Luther King Day, sort of a compass for the nation about Dr. King. But this speech really has kind of a different resonance, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It has a kind of a finality to it. It's prophetic. It's foresight. There's foresight. There's a real dwelling on the past.
You think it's an overlooked speech as well?
It kind of is. I mean, it has some tough competition, but you know, people. He has a I Have a Dream speech. Of course, he gave in August of 1965 and '63. He also had that Time to Break the Silence speech against Vietnam. But yeah, it's had its own special part. I don't know if it's overlooked so much as it is. It's just it's in a special spot in Americans' hearts and conscience.
Before we go, we don't have much time left, but talk to me about the event tomorrow, the details. I understand it's free. You know, where should people come? What should people know about the event tomorrow?
51 Geneva Avenue. It's going to be at the Grove Hall Community Center, and 6 o'clock. It's free, and it's going to be special. Reverend Fluker is the head of the Martin Luther King professor at the BU Theology School of Theology, where he went to BU Divinity School, and it's going to be very good.
All right, okay. Attorney Charles Walker, thanks for coming in and giving us, a look at a speech that not everybody hears about, but that was very, very important, and reminding us about the important event tomorrow night. Well, that's it for this edition of Urban Update. For all of us here, I'm Byron Barnett. Have a great Sunday, everyone.